guys, and welcome back to my channel. And recently we did a review of a bunch of affordable scrunch leggings because there were just too many good ones to not have their own video. But now we are doing affordable activewear in general. So we have regular leggings with no scrunches for my girls who just like aren't into the scrunch. We have some new styles with some new fabrics that I'm super excited to try. We have affordable Shrugs and Boleros if you've been wanting to get onto that Bolero trend, but the more pricey brands are just kind of keeping you away from it. And some cute bras, tops, sweatpants. We got a good little mix today. So I believe all of these are from Amazon. I just think Amazon has a good collection of high quality brands. You really have to be careful which brands you are buying from on Amazon. I am trying a new brand today, but mostly new items from brands that I already know and trust from Amazon. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first legging that I'm super excited to try is the Sunzel no front seam pocket legging. Honestly, one of my most highly requested items to review for you guys is no front seam pocket leggings, or just pocket leggings in general, but for me it's not going to be a favorite unless it has no front seam. And affordable brands often either have a front seam or don't have pockets, or the leggings just aren't what they should be. But I really feel like Sunzel has been hitting the mark lately. So these are made of their new Nunaked fabric, which is a stretchy nylon spandex that is super soft to the touch and just has a great feel when it's on. These are the same material as those pink scrunch leggings we tried from Sunzel in the last affordable activewear video, and these just look so good that I had to try them. Everything I believe today is in a size small. The last Sunzel leggings I tried felt like they ran a little bit big, so I hope that these are okay. But anyways, we have a double thickness waistband, no top band, and no front seam. Finally, we have a thin seam detail that just kind of gently curves around the glutes in the back, so they're not a scrunch or anything, but they still should be flattering on the glutes. We have two side pockets, kind of slightly curved shape. And another thing that I love about Sunzel is that they have multiple inseams. So these come in a 26 and 28 inch inseam, which honestly, it's really hard to find 28 inch inseams as a tall girly out there, unless you're like buying from Lululemon or like a really high-end expensive brand. So I'm so excited to see that these are coming in two lengths. We also have this really cute brown color, which has just been very in right now. So let's try these on. The fabric of these leggings, the seam construction, the height options, all of this is just not something I normally see in a more affordable brand. So I am very impressed with these leggings, and I'm so glad to finally find some affordable pocket leggings that actually are really nice. Let's just do a quick phone test here. It's not the biggest pocket, but it does fit my phone just fine. It's not peeping out the top or anything. Normally I'm used to a pocket that maybe goes a little bit deeper, but I still think we have plenty of space. So we have a pretty high rise. It goes a little bit above the natural waist here. Slight dip down in the front. No front seam, and I'd say the gusset is slightly extended, but it's not very visible from the front. Again, we have the pockets on the side and a seam that goes all the way down the leg. And then we have the back. We have those slightly curved seams that do sit above the glutes. This fabric is nice and contouring to the curves, so I would give it a medium to high on the booty scale. It's flattering, but it's not a scrunch. It's not super in your face. Good for everyday wear. This material is probably not going to be the most cellulite friendly, so I would stick to darker colors. I'd say it's medium cellulite friendly. It is pretty brushed, so should have a little bit of coverage there. But again, the sizing just is a little bit off for me. We see that there's a little bit of extra fabric here. We've been getting a lot more Pinto appearances in our videos lately. I just tried to feed you lunch and you didn't eat anything. He's a very picky eater. And it was your favorite too. He's just too tired. You need a nappy. Anyways, normally the waistband should be pretty snug against the skin here, but it's just a little bit loose, especially if I bend over. You can see it does gape out just a little bit, and we have a little bit of wrinkling of the fabric here. And I can just tell that if I would be walking around a lot, it just wouldn't stay up quite like it should. So again, I would recommend sizing down in these. I do have my extra smalls on the way so that I can try them. But even if you've been a certain size in Sunzel in the past, these are just feeling like they're running a little bit bigger, and you should have quite a bit of flexibility in the sizing because they are so stretchy. Looking at the full length, these are a 28 inch inseam, so super excited that they have those length options. You know, pull these down a little bit more here. So for my tall girlies, we've got everything covered. We got the length, the no front seam, the pockets, they just got everything. Overall compression is definitely a light to medium. This is a very naked feel brush type fabric. If I had to compare it to something, honestly, it feels a lot like a Buff Bunny Newbury. Like this is very close. So super excited about these. Then if pocket leggings are not your thing, I just wanted to try the classic classic Sunzel Nunaked leggings. So same material as the last leggings. This material is honestly so soft. Like, this is the best material I've felt from an affordable brand. Here's an up close of the fabric. It's just so soft. The seams are a really delicate style seam, but they seem very high quality as well. We do have a slightly extended crotch gusset here. These do feel like they're gonna be a little bit big. I'm just wondering what happened with their sizing, because I have a bunch of stuff from Sunzel in the past and I was always a small. Sizing is just so confusing, guys. Some brands I'm like, okay, am I a medium now? Some brands I'm like, I'm an extra small. I just don't feel like I'm an extra small. But anyways, these have similar seams to the pocket leggings, except no pockets on the side, just very basic, very simple. And these also come in 2 lengths. All right, and here they are. Very similar shape and everything to the Nunaked pocket leggings, but these ones are much more simple design. There's no side seam. We still have that delicate kind of dipped down waistband, no top band. This one does have a hidden pocket in the waistband here, so that's a nice little bonus if you like that. We still have the seams that curve around the glutes in the back, still giving us a nice medium to high on the booty scale back here. A little more cellulite coverage in this darker color. Also in this darker color, I'm feeling more of a light to medium compression, especially in the legs, but the top part of the waistband is still not quite compressive enough for me. I definitely have a larger hip and thigh measurement and a smaller waist measurement, so I prefer leggings that have a slight tapered shape that can still give me a little bit of hold and compression in the waist to make sure the leggings stay up, but they're not too compressive in the hips and thighs. So if you're someone who has a little less of a difference in your waist and your hip measurement, a legging like this could be good because the waist is not super snatched. So it totally just depends on your body type, your preferences. For me, who prefers something a little bit more tapered, I would probably need a size down, and then I would just hope that I have enough stretch in the legs, because these ones do feel a little bit tighter in the knees. So the lighter brown of the pocket leggings, those fit a little bit better for me. Still loving this fabric though. It's so soft and I'm honestly really impressed with the fabric. And then we have the full length view of these. I guess they might be a 28-inch as well, but I love the dark brown. I love this as an alternative to black, to just have like a nice neutral, but not be so harsh. And then that little crotch gusset here is not visible from the front. So these are a great basic legging. Like, if I had to recommend a basic legging on Amazon, this would be the one if you want a super soft fabric. But definitely sizing and body shape are something to think about with this one. All right, let's test out our first Bolero. This is from the brand Yeoreo, which I have tried before. Their items are kind of hit or miss, but I did like their leggings in the last video. So this is the Shrug Bolero. It was $26.99. I honestly couldn't really find one for under $20. I know it seems like, you know, okay, we're paying $25 for just some sleeves, but it's a style thing. You know? And honestly, I just haven't seen them for that cheap. This fabric feels super lightweight, super stretchy. It is double lined in the body part here, and then the sleeves are single lined. They also have thumb holes. These are looking pretty good, honestly. If you look at the reviews for some of these Boleros, it's really funny because the brands have had to make it so clear that they do not come with a sports bra. These items just like don't have good reviews, because if you look at the reviews, they're all like, it only came with the Shrug part. It didn't come with the bra. I don't know why people don't read before they buy things, but it says in the title that it's a Shrug, not a top. Anyways, this is made of a very lightweight material, almost slightly brushed, but a little more leaning towards performance. Let's try it on. All right, our first little Bolero. So overall the fabric is very soft, very lightweight. I like the shape of the Bolero. It's close to the neck, but not too close, and it's pretty small in the front, so you still get a nice view of the sports bra. I also like that my armpits are exposed and not covered up, because it just gives you that little breeze, you know? Also, it doesn't just like show armpit sweat as easily, so that is something I like to see in a Bolero. The thumb holes are actually quite nice. It's a little sewn down slit here, and I have plenty of length over my wrists. And then the back also is a pretty minimal coverage, which I also like. When you're wearing this, it's really just to be some sleeves, you know, with a little bit fashion, a little bit of a warm-up piece, but we're still showing all of the sports bra in the back. So I think coverage and style of this I'm really liking. I will say the material is really just okay. We can see here that even though this is a double layer, it's quite thin. You can see part of this tag through. It doesn't feel quite as nice as some of my other Boleros. And you can definitely see the transition from the double layered fabric to the single layer of the sleeves. This may mostly be an issue in the white, and I don't see any true quality issues so far. I don't see any snags, I don't see any seams coming undone, but I definitely feel a quality difference between this and my other ones. I know it's tough with a white fabric to make sure that everything is nice and opaque, but like it's still something I would wear. Again, it doesn't really need to be 100% opaque because it's just a layering piece. It's not actually covering anything, but let me know what you guys think. All right, I thought I would branch out and try a new Amazon brand to see if there's anything good hiding out there. So these are the Enerbloom no front seam full length leggings. I got a size small and they were $28.99, which seems pretty on par with most Amazon brands at this point. And these looked interesting to me. There are still a lot of Amazon brands that still have front seams, so I liked that this one had no front seam. We have a double thickness waistband. The material is nice. It feels very lightweight, stretchy, but it does not feel brushed. We have an extended crotch gusset that's going down the leg here. I don't think these had multiple inseams. Then I thought the back of the waistband on this one was interesting. From the back, one disappointing feature of these is that the waistband is just kind of straight across, and that's where I see like Sunzel and Aoxjox like setting themselves apart from other Amazon brands, is that they do have some flattering seams in the back. So these just are flat across, but if you like that, that's a thing here. But the whole back waistband has like a separate little section. So it has this huge kind of back pocket area, and then it has a bonded edge seam right to kind of hold that in. So there's two little smaller areas of the pocket, and then there's one big area. I think that it always just kind of looks a little weird when you put stuff in these pockets because it's sitting on the small of your back, which is like not a very cushioned area, rather than like the outer thigh, which, you know, has some more like muscle and fat out there. So it's not right up against your bones, you know? So this is just not a comfortable area for me to really put things. But if you are someone who really likes a hidden pocket, it's got it. Okay, these leggings are actually better than I thought. Now that I have them on, I can see that they're a nice, stretchy, sleek performance material. I think my favorite thing about these leggings is the fabric. It's super stretchy, but not very shiny. Just a nice quality performance material. These hit right about at my natural waist. So at the smallest point of my waist, we have a double thickness waistband with no top band, nice and secure in the waist too. And I would say the waistband's pretty thick. It's giving some good tummy control in this area. No front seam. And here's issue number one. This does sit pretty far forward. I could try to pull it back, but in my experience, just kind of like creeps back up to the same position. So just a little bit more visible in the front than I would want. And then issue number two is that the seams are just kind of flat across the back. I don't need, you know, super curved seams all the time, but generally I like, you know, a little something to create a slightly more flattering shape. I just feel like this really kind of flattens out the back, but they are still stretchy enough that they're not squishing my glutes down, so we'll give them a medium on the booty scale. Very slightly cellulite friendly, really not a lot of coverage, especially since this is a thinner performance material. We do have that waistband pocket in the back. I'm not really sure we would put in there maybe some keys, maybe a credit card, something like that. A phone would not be the most comfortable thing to put in there, but it does fit. Overall compression is low to medium compression. And these are actually listed at a 28-inch inseam, definitely longer than I had expected, but good for my tall girlies. I think the fabric is really nice. If that little straight waistband is not an issue to you, I think that these are still a good legging. The quality is actually better than expected. Next, we are trying some Colorfulkoala. Colorfulkoala used to be one of my all-time favorite Amazon brands. They just have really good quality stuff and they're affordable, and they just came out with some flare leggings and a sports bra. Again, Amazon brands are usually slacking on the sports bras. They're getting the leggings down, but where are the bras? So this is the Colorfulkoala Dreamlux Strappy Back Bra. I got a size small and it was $32.99, which I feel like is getting a little bit up there for the Amazon brands. I feel like these affordable brands need to kind of like keep the sports bras, maybe 25 to 30. But anyways, this is their Dreamlux fabric, which is a soft brushed material. So here's an up close of the fabric. We have little strappy details that kind of connect in the back here. The logo on the back left, there is an elastic. The front just has a little seam at the bottom, a little elasticized seam, but the back has a full elastic. And the reason I really wanted to try this bra is that the padding is actually molded into the bra. They're not removable cut pads. It's a molded padding that kind of contours your bust there, provides a little support shaping without having that annoying removable cup. Listen, I don't mind a removable cup as long as the cup pads are good quality, but it can be hard to find really good quality cup pads. So love to see this. So let's try this one on. Okay, it is not every day that we see a bra with molded cup pads. So I'm honestly excited to see it. We have this little seam at the bottom to kind of keep it nice and secure under the bust. It's not providing a lot of containment and support down there, but I'm confident that I wouldn't be slipping out the bottom. Those molded cups are providing a nice seamless contour of the bust area. And because they are molded into a specific way, it's kind of giving the girls a little bit of a lift here. So super flattering. It's kind of all scooping everything together and keeping things contained, but also a little bit of a lift. I am slightly spilling out of it, just a little bit. I would say it can work as a larger cup size. You might have a little bit of spillage though. The straps are really nice and soft. I love that they are just kind of an elasticized version of the fabric here. And then we have the back, little strappy detail. We do have that elastic band in the back. I think they did a nice job of making it a pretty good transition from that seam to the elastic, and it's giving like expensive sports bra. It looks really nice. So I haven't tried very many Colorfulkoala bras. I have a few other ones, but they're honestly just okay. I would say this one is the best I've tried. The coverage, I would say low to medium. I do get a little bit of armpit spillage, a little bit of cleavage here. The support is also like a light to medium. It's honestly better than I would expect out of a spaghetti strap bra. I am feeling pretty held in, and I'm confident that I would stay secure in this bra in my whole workout. Definitely good for medium range cup sizes. Should be perfect. Even smaller because the cup pad space isn't like super huge. But yeah, I'm impressed with this one. And I wish I got the leggings in a matching color, but I don't think they came in this exact color. And then we have the Colorfulkoala Dreamlux flare leggings. Listen, I wanted to be super excited about these and they look cute, but I just need Colorfulkoala to like keep up with the times a little bit because we're still doing front seams. Still have a front seam. Listen, I know some people like front seams. I just can't do it, but we'll move past that for a second. So this is the Dreamlux material. In terms of Colorfulkoala fabrics, it feels more similar to one of their older, thicker brush fabrics. So still has good stretch to it, but it's not super lightweight. We do have no top band at least. The seams in the back are pretty much flat across. I would say it's similar to like a Lululemon Align where it just very slightly tapers up, but not really like a contoured seam. These ones are really cool because they do have these hidden zippered side pockets, which keeps your stuff nice and secure. I don't often see a legging with a zip side pocket, so I liked that. They have that on both sides. They are a flare, and seeing people wear these, they look more of like a boot cut flare, so they're not a super skinny bell bottom type. And another reason why it took me so long to try these is because they do come in two lengths, but they only come in a 29.5 and a 31.5. I need like a 33 to 34 inch inseam, so unfortunately these are not long enough for me, but if you are someone who is either a short or regular length usually, these should fit. So let's give them a try. All right, here they are. First of all, we have an ultra high rise. They go above the natural part of my waist, and that's not even pulling them up too much because I'm not even getting very many camel problems because I'm not pulling them up at all. They're already super high. That being said, the waistband is pretty thick as well, so it goes kind of into the lower tummy area. Again, the front seam's actually not causing me too many problems, so I would say it's pretty minimally invasive. I absolutely love how hidden these side pockets are. It just kind of hides in the seam at the side. It's this nice little mesh. So the pockets actually are sewn onto this inner seam so that they don't bunch up on the inside, which I think is really smart. I'll show them inside out, but I think that was a really great feature. Let's just check the size of the pocket. I can fit my full phone in there, nice and secure. Again, not the most comfortable place to have a pocket because it's kind of poking right into my hip, but you do have that as an option. Moving on to the back. The seams are very slightly tapered, but again, I'm just not feeling any really enhancements to the back, but they're not squishing down. So we'll just go with a nice neutral medium on the booty scale. This fabric, overall, I'm feeling a low to medium compression. I think they run the tiniest bit on the big side, so they're true to size, but if you're in between, I would choose the size down. The fabric is a decent thickness and density, so I would actually say these are pretty cellulite friendly. And now onto the full length view. So the length actually doesn't look too bad on me right now. These are 31.5, so I'm kind of impressed because they feel longer than I would expect. But for me, a flare kind of needs to be more close to touching the ground when I'm not wearing shoes, just so it falls over the shoes nicely when you're out and about. I would say actually not too bad in terms of the length. It could definitely be worse, but still just the tiniest bit short for me. Probably something I could still work with, but could use one more length. And the flare shape, we can see these flare kind of right at the knee, and they're not a super bell-bottomy shape. They're more of a boot cut style. Just depends on your flare preferences. I would say I generally prefer a slightly more flared shape, but also to flare kind of mid-calf, and that's just kind of the most flattering flare shape for me. But I feel like overall these are really nice. The addition of the pockets is really unique and very functional. So here is the leggings inside out, and you can see this is the pocket, but the fabric kind of extends into the middle seam as well as the inner crotch seam, which allows the pockets to really stay put and not bunch up underneath the leggings. So I think that was a really smart move of them. I've not seen this before. Next, let's get into a few sports bras and tops. This one is from the brand Aoxjox, and they have been coming out with some super cute, unique designs lately. So this is the Emma sports bra, and I like that the front of this one, it has this kind of squared neckline, which is super flattering. Just a little seam across the bottom. The cup pads are removable here, and they do feel pretty large and pretty good quality. I hate just having like a tiny little flimsy cup pad. And then the back has this really cute crisscross design with a strap across the back for some support. Some good coverage in the front, but still a cute little back design. Let's try it on. All right, here's the sports bra. Couple things that concern me. First of all, I think this fabric works really well for sports bras because it's still soft and brushed, but it just provides a little bit of extra hold. I love the square neckline. I also think the coverage is really good. It goes nice into the armpits without being too tight, causing any chafing in there. We do have the cup pads, and I feel like this white is opaque enough that you can't see them. Overall, a medium coverage and a low to medium support. So still not a super supportive bra. And there is a tiny little band around the bottom. But if we were gonna lose coverage anywhere, it would be under boob. I definitely had to position myself in this bra in a way that I was not going to fall out the bottom. So I'm just not sure that this is the most secure bra because all we have in the back is this little strap, which is really more for show than for security. Just be careful. I think given how I'm feeling in it right now, I shouldn't have any wardrobe malfunctions wearing this to the gym, but it's just the way that this design is. It's not the most secure in the bottom band. Then we go to the back. I love the crisscross detail. Nice thick straps, so they're really comfortable. And then this little strap down here is not super tight or anything, so really provides just a little bit of hold to it, but more of a decoration. It does go over the lats here, but because the strap is nice and thick, it's not cutting in or causing any discomfort. So definitely appreciate them kind of experimenting with the bras. I think this is a super cute style. I love the square neck, and I definitely think it's maybe a little bit more towards a smaller bust, but I'm still completely covered in it. Next, we have the Aoxjox Brooke tank. This one just looks so cute. I wore it in a video recently and you guys really liked it. First of all, I love that the Amazon affordable brands are doing these kind of trendy browns. We have a kind of curved V neckline. We have a pretty good amount of bust space here. Whenever we have these little underbust details, it's always a question of, is there actually going to be enough space for the girls, or is it going to be more of a, you know, IBTC friendly top? And then this one's kind of in between a tank and a bra. It does have this long line portion here that's pretty long. It also does have removable cup pads, but there's no elastic under the bust. I have already worn this one and I know it actually does fit well without that elastic, but it does bring it down a little bit in support. And then the back is just kind of a classic tank, no details back there. One benefit of not having that elastic is that you never get that kind of show through when you're wearing the top where it can kind of cut into you in the back. Personally, I don't really care. I am happy to have support and show a little elastic. It doesn't really matter to me. But if you are conscious of those details, this one does not have that. All right, so this top definitely surprised me. For something to not have that internal elastic, usually it doesn't work for me, but this one really does. First of all, that it's a long tank. It's obviously a cropped tank, but it's longer than a long line sports bra. So quite a bit of coverage. If you have a shorter torso than me, which most people do, you should go just about right to the legging waistband there. I love the removable cups in here. They're a nice size, a nice shape. They're not flimsy. And this bust space that's kind of defined by this little contoured seam has enough space for me. So a little pop of cleavage here, but I'm not falling out. This definitely leans a little bit more lifestyle for me. You could absolutely wear it to the gym. The material is definitely gym friendly, but for me, it would be more lifestyle just because I prefer sports bras for the gym. Overall coverage, pretty good side boob coverage, just a little bit of cleavage in the front here. So I would go with overall medium. Nice thick tank straps, and then a scooped back. And you can see since we don't have that elastic there, it's a very seamless look in the back. Again, it doesn't bother me to have that elastic, but if you prefer a more sleek look, this has that. And although I wouldn't wear it to the gym, the support, it's a low to medium, pretty, you know, low impact. But I think this one's super cute for lifestyle. I love this brown that it comes in. Again, I kind of wish maybe they do have this exact brown. This is both Aoxjox. They probably have the leggings in this brown, but I don't have it. But yeah, I think this one is a super fun way to kind of incorporate that little contour detail without being a super, you know, low coverage bra. Next, we have the Aoxjox Metamorphe leggings. So I'm interested to see how these compare to the Sunzels because I feel like the shape is pretty similar. I haven't been a huge fan of Aoxjox leggings in the past. I feel like their seamless leggings were better, and their non-seamless leggings, the fabric always had a little bit to work on for me and the fit was never quite right, but these looked really good online. So this is the Metamorphe legging. We have a slight V to the waistband in the front, no front seam. We do have a double thickness waistband with no top band. The fabric doesn't have quite as much softness to it as the Sunzel Nunaked fabric. You can definitely see it's not quite as brushed, but it still is pretty soft. It feels like it has a good amount of stretch to it as well. We do have some tapered seams in the back. Compared to the Sunzel ones, these are definitely more prominent seams. Not necessarily a bad thing, just something to note. So here is an up close of the fabric in those seams. You can see they nicely curve around the glutes there. Holding this up, the gusset does seem to sit a little bit far forward here, so I hope that when we try it on, the gusset kind of hides back where it's not visible, but it is a slightly extended gusset that goes kind of mid-thigh here, and these are a 27-inch inseam. Okay, here are the leggings. First of all, ultra high rise. Again, pretty good amount above the belly button. We have this nice little dip down in the waist, no front seam here. Crotch gusset is not very visible. I think they did a good job of kind of keeping that further back once this is on. This material is definitely different than the material they make the tops out of that I was saying could be a little bit too thick for leggings. This is a much more lightweight, stretchy material. That being said, it just doesn't feel like the best material. I definitely prefer the Sunzel fabric. This one almost feels a little bit too thin in a way, and I love a thin fabric, but it just doesn't have the same high quality, luxurious feel. So I definitely feel like, again, working with their legging fabrics is still a thing that Aoxjox could be doing. Other than that, there's no side seams. The curved seams do go above the glutes in the back, so we're getting a nice medium to high on the booty scale. This fabric is definitely not squishing the glutes down. This is a pretty thin fabric, so really not much cellulite coverage there, unfortunately. Very light compression, very naked feel. It's just not in the hugging kind of way where it's still soft and stretchy, but still kind of hugs you in all the curves. And these are a 27-inch inseam. So pretty good length, a nice kind of intermediate length for people. I think the shape of these is really nice. I've been leaning a little bit more towards kind of right above the belly button as a good height for me. So these are a little bit high, and I think the fabric could be worked on, but I think they're going in the right direction. These are definitely better than some of the other leggings I've tried from them in the past. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're just keeping it going with the Aoxjox. We have the Aoxjox Bolero. So this one is $26.99, and this one is more of a Shrug style bolero. So it doesn't have any piece that is in the front. It is just the sleeves, so it's easy to get on and off. You don't have to pull it over your head. Just kind of depends which one you like better. I think that this style pairs better with more necklines. You have to be a little conscious of what kind of neckline sports bra you're wearing underneath the other style of bolero, but they both have a time and a place for me. This fabric is definitely thicker than the Yeoreo Bolero fabric. It's got a little more structure to it. We do not have any thumb holes in this one. Looks like this area is going to kind of curve slightly around the front of the shoulder. And this kind of feels like the older typical Aoxjox fabric that I never quite loved for the bottoms. They kind of made everything in this fabric. It's just a little too thick for me. I think that this could be a little bit thinner of a fabric, but also for a top like this, it's not super critical for me. And then a good amount of coverage in the back, more coverage than the other top. All right, here is the Shrug. So you can see this one is just something you kind of throw on over the shoulders. Just simply sleeves, no little strap detail up here. I would say this one is a much more dense, thick material compared to the Yeoreo one, so something to consider. I do wish this one was like a little bit more naked feel. The fabric is a little bit more dense than I'd like, but I think it's still a good option. Obviously this is black, but I would know that even the white white would be more opaque than the other one. Kind of to my shoulder area here, but it's not too much. I would say true to size. If you're in between, you could really go either way, but I wouldn't be sizing down too much just because this fabric is pretty dense. The sleeves, they go right about to my wrists. No thumb holes with this one, unfortunately. That would be something that I think would be a nice addition. But yeah, I like the style of this. I like how easy it is to get on and off, just like a simple little layering piece for the gym. I think it's cute. And then because the Bandeau and Shrug combo is a thing, Aoxjox also has a new Bandeau. This is the Strapless mesh Bandeau. I got a size small and it was $26.99. You guys know I'm never really gonna be a Bandeau girly. You'll never catch me comfortable in the gym in a strapless piece. I just don't have enough trust for that. But I was happy to see the amount of coverage of this one. It looked pretty solid. First of all, it has a slight rounded curve when you're actually wearing it. It kind of all flattens out. We have a little mesh insert in the front, as well as a little V mesh insert in the back. We do have removable cups. There is a silicone piece on the top of the bra to kind of keep it from sliding down, and a nice thick elastic at the base. So compared to many bandeaus I've seen, I feel like this one is a little bit more large cup size friendly, albeit there will be no support because there are no straps to support, but the coverage should be better. All right, here is the bandeau. And I would say as far as bandeaus go, this one has a pretty good amount of coverage. So coverage is good. I would honestly say medium to full coverage. I'm pretty much covered everywhere. The support though is definitely a light. So you're just not getting support in this style of bra. That should really come as no surprise. We have that silicone lining on the top of the bra to keep it in place a little bit, that mesh insert detail, and you kind of can't see that elastic at the bottom there just because the girls are not very lifted in this. So still not a bandeau girly. It's just not for me, but this one does have a good amount of coverage. And then we go to the back, and you have that little mesh insert down there. So overall, I think it's cute. I don't think this is the most flattering style for me just because I just feel like I don't get any lift, you know, gravity's doing its thing. Cute, but just, again, probably for smaller cup sizes. Overall sizing though, I would say runs a tiny bit big. If you are in between or you have a smaller bust, I would size down. And lastly, I wanted to give the Aoxjox Cloud Lounge joggers a try. First of all, just holding these up. These are a heavy jogger. So if you like a nice dense fabric, a super cozy, warm, thick fleece, these are for you. So these are $39.99, so definitely a little bit pricier, but I think it's because this fabric is just probably more expensive than some of their other fabrics because it's so thick and dense. So the outside of the fabric is just a classic sweatpants style material, a little bit of give to it, but not really any stretch. So for that reason, I wouldn't compare them to like the Buff Bunny Cloud, but honestly, some sweatpants don't need any stretch. And I'm trying to think what the inside of these remind me of, because the inside of these feels super soft. I think this reminds me of the POPFLEX oversized hoodies. Did they also call those a cloud hoodie? Everyone uses cloud and butter and everything, and it's just kind of tiring because it gets a little confusing in my mind. Everyone calls everything the same thing. Like, I get it. I get the thing we're going for. Soft as a cloud, smooth like butter, you know. But here's the inside of the fabric. Nice and thick, dense, soft material. And the outside is also soft, almost a little bit brushed to the touch. Nice hand feel here. We have a nice elasticized waistband, internal drawstring, which is kind of growing on me just because everyone's doing it. And then a classic elasticized cuff at the bottom. These look like they're gonna be kind of nice and oversized. They're feeling pretty good. I'm kind of excited about these. Let's try them on. I remember when I was trying to review sweatpants like 2 years ago, and there was just nothing good out there that wasn't incredibly expensive. And even the incredibly expensive things I didn't love. And now brands have just really stepped it up. We have better fabrics, better fit options, just my comfy self is just so glad. All right, here are the joggers. So it's a nice high rise, just about a little bit over my belly button. The fabric is a nice, like really thick fabric. So if you are looking for like a warm, cozy sweatpant, these are your sweats. If you're looking for more of like a spring sweatpant, this one might be a little bit thick. So it just depends what you're going for. Pockets are pretty spacious in here. They're nice and thick. They're lined with that same fabric. We do have the internal drawstring, but the scrunched waistband is enough that I don't really feel like it's necessary. We have a nice relaxed fit. I like that it's still snug enough in the waist that it's staying up, but it's not skin tight on the thighs and the glutes. We just have a little bit of space. So I would say true to size for a relaxed fit. The full length view I still have not measured the inseam, so that will be at the end of the screen, but it's actually a really good length for me. The only thing that these sweats are missing is stretch. They really don't have any stretch to them, they just have a little bit of give, but I've come to see that that's not always an essential factor in sweats because these do have enough room that I'm able to move around in them. But if you are looking for something with stretch, these are probably not going to be the ones. But honestly, the shape of these, the fabric, everything feels really, really nice. So I'm definitely impressed with these. I believe there's a matching sweatshirt that I might have to test out. Yeah, if you're looking for a nice, cozy, warm sweatpant, these are nice. All right, guys, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you liked this video, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. As always, leave your comments and requests down below. I'd say we had a lot of good pieces here. I definitely think the shining pieces are definitely the Aoxjox bras and tops, and then those Sunzel leggings. Again, some slight modifications with the sizing for me, but I'm glad to see that affordable activewear is still getting better and better every day. Hopefully the prices continue to kind of stay the same, you know? Affordable leggings used to be like $15 and now the norm is like 25 to 30. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.